to King Philip's Spring 2025 Band Concert. There are plenty of seats. If you enjoyed the art show, you can give a round of applause to our students and our art teachers for that. What's today's date, Mr. Edwards? So even though today is May the 6th, our 8th grade band, which is the fourth, may the fourth be with you. Anyway, I won't take too much of your time. I just want to say thank you to all of our students who have worked so hard to prepare for this evening. They show up during Learning Lab, they show up for their lessons during the day, and I know they practice at home, right students? And they're provided with the space to do that and time to do that. So thank you to the parents and caregivers as well. I want to also remind our students, well, I don't need to remind them what concert etiquette is, they know that. But just a reminder to follow appropriate concert etiquette when you're up on stage, you and the audience doing that for you, and we know that you will adhere to our concert expectations and etiquette for your classmates as they're on stage. So again, thank you to the art teachers for the art show, thank you to the students for all your hard work, thank you for all the support that you've provided to the parents and caregivers here. I hope that you enjoy tonight's show and find time to put your phones away and hopefully some cares and worries that you have during May-December just out of your way for this next hour or so. Just try to amuse yourself with the music. And I want to say a special thanks to Mr. Edwards, who was the director. He is the director not only of the three bands you'll hear tonight, not only of King Philip's marching band, but also of the stage band, which he got started, didn't even exist before he worked here, and the jazz band, which wins award after award. They get better and better each year. So without further ado, Mr. Edwards and the 8th grade band.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gusser, again for all that, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. This is probably my favorite concert of the year because it's an all-band concert. I just want to start by taking a second just to respectfully and kindly set the tone, especially for some of our students who haven't had a chance to practice concert etiquette before, because usually they are tucked away in different rooms, watching the concert and not being able to see it. But this concert is really a privilege, so it allows them to get to be here for a chance to actually get to hear their peers, which is cool. So, students, I'm talking to you right now, especially the students on this side right now, so chaperones. I want you to hear as well, so just so you know what the student expectation is. First, I'm going to wait till all the students are not talking. That's what concert etiquette sounds like. It's not just because we don't want you to talk and say, be excited with your friends. It's because the people up here worked really hard, just like you guys worked really hard. When you're talking, even though you're not trying to be like rude or anything like that, that's what it feels like to the people in the audience. So please make sure that you're silent. It doesn't mean like whisper, it actually means it is silent right now. Chaperones, just so you know, what we told the students for like bathroom or water if they need to go, we're not going to do any of that while songs are being played. It's going to be kind of one person, two people at a time with boys and girls restrooms while the applause is happening. Okay, just as a heads up so that you know that. But I want to again say the same thing to students on this side as well, who are doing a really good job. Thank you guys. When somebody's performing, it's not an opportunity to turn and talk. It's not an opportunity to turn and whisper. It's just an opportunity to listen, okay? And all of your parents are also here watching you. I'm sure you're not hearing this, so I'm sure that you'll make sure that we all follow directions together. But without further ado, this is the 8th grade band. We're going to start with a song called Velocity, go into a cool piece called Spitfire, and then I'll tell you about the last one, because it's kind of fun. about one more hand for this awesome group so far? One of the cool things about this concert is we get to kind of see the progression and experience of the kids, to the 8th graders to where your 6th grade and 7th graders are going. And this last song has become kind of, there's a couple songs that I like to do every year because I just think they're perfect middle school songs that every kid should have a chance to play. And this is one of them, but for a less than maybe musical way, just because of a kind of a fun way. So this last song is entitled A+. And the cool thing about this song is basically, we play this song once, we have a little bit of a break in the middle, and then we play the exact same song again, but with a little bit of a twist. I get asked a lot as a music teacher, I get told a lot, like, oh, Mr. Ellis, I love your class, I have my academic classes, and I like coming to band, and it always hits me, I'm like, yeah, I think band's academic, or I had to go to school for and stuff, right? So I was like, well, what you guys get A pluses and A's and B's. So if you get an A plus, I was like, how many mistakes do you get on that? Okay, you get like 1 mistake, maybe 2, and that brings you to like a 97, which is still an A plus. Well, in band music, you don't get to make 1 mistake. You don't get to make any mistakes. And this song proves just that. So the first half, we're gonna play the song perfectly, how we always play our music, or try to at least. And then the next half, everyone in the band gets to make 1 mistake on purpose. It's still an A+, but I think you'll find out in music, an A+ means something a little bit different. This is A+. All right. So another thing that makes our band really awesome is how fast we're going to transition to the next band for you guys. Hopefully, we'll find out right now. All right. So the 8th grade bands are going to go out the 2 doors this way. 7th graders, you're already standing. You're going to come onto the stage as the 8th graders move their bodies. 8th graders, you may go now. Awesome job. Awesome job. 7th graders, you may come on the stage. So chaperones, the 8th graders are just taking up spots in the 7th graders. That's the rule. We're going to continue with the 7th grade portion as soon as we remember our concert etiquette. Awesome. All right. This is the, can we give it up for the 7th grade band? And 6th graders and 8th graders that have finished performing and are waiting to perform. Mr. Edwards loves reminders, so I'm going to keep reminding you each section of what concert etiquette looks like and sounds like. It sounds like voices are totally off. I know there's a lot of excitement. I know you're ready to go on stage. We want to hear you, but we want to hear this group too. Okay, so you got to keep your voice off first. Thank you. All right, so that was entitled F1 for Formula One Racing. I didn't know how many racing fans were in the 7th grade band until after we picked that song out. I didn't have to explain it at all. This next song is really exciting. Did anybody, students or families, get to see the amazing musical from KP? So, we decided to kind of do a song from that musical, all right? So I think that you'll know what this one is. This one is from Lion King. I just want to give a special shout out to Mr. Miles Ross. He was chaperoning, helping us out. Like he needed something else to do after putting on the musical, like doing so much work to make that happen for our awesome students. So this is Can You Feel the Love Tonight? All right, and for our final song for our 7th grade, before that, I just want to acknowledge a couple students from this group and from the 8th grade group. One of the things that happens in concert band music, as opposed to, that happens in jazz a lot, are solos. However, the solos traditionally don't always get recognized at high levels. However, for our students, I want to recognize anyone that's playing a solo just because they deserve it. So I just want to shout out in the 8th grade band, Owen Lawless, Aaron Shamsky, and Charlie Burke had some solos in that first speech, and give it up for those students too. And one of the things that's another really, there's just so much cool stuff about band. I have a really cool job, if you haven't figured that out already, is we have a lot of different instruments, and one of the instruments, the euphonium, tends to be in the back. Most people probably don't even know what a euphonium is. Hey, euphoniums, can you just hold them up? Really? Like way big. Can you see those? Okay, yeah, those are the euphoniums. You can hold up the euphoniums. Fun fact, the euphonium means beautiful sound, all right? And although we don't always have many euphoniums, they're always mighty. And this last song called Hymn Song Variant, it's okay, they're tuning, they're supposed to do that, it's all right. This last song, Hymn Song Variants, actually has some euphonium solos in there. However, they're meant to be like, you really gotta kind of listen for them. So there's certain parts, I kind of call it like the secret spy of the band. They kind of have like some solo parts throughout, but only if you're really, really listening to it. And Julia Gussie is going to play those secret euphonium solos, so I just wanted to recognize her too. On their last song, we also heard from Carson on the drum set hidden way back. They're going to for Carson on the drum set. He was doing the timpani tuning over there. And then we're also going to hear from Landon, has like a solo note on the tuba as well. You probably are familiar with that one. But Landon, you can hold it up anyways if you can. Hold up that tuba. Whoa. This is Hymn Song Variants. All right, we have one more transition while the 7th graders get off the stage through those doors and go back to the wall area they were at, and the 6th graders get on stage while the 8th graders take their seats. I'm going to also just give you some information about the end of your band. So I'll send an email, but some people like it right here, so while they start moving, I'll give you those announcements, all right? Can we get one more hand up for the 7th graders? Alright, so hopefully you can still hear me and kind of all this chatting going on. There's things are going I can go louder. That's better? Okay, yeah, you can go louder. I have a teacher voice. Alright, so for people that wanted to know end of the year things, the biggest thing coming up, parents, is the Memorial Day Parade. The Memorial Day Parade is on Memorial Day. That is May 26th, okay, so May 26th, all students in band will be a part of the Memorial Day Parade. Although I'll send out a detailed reminder, just so you have an idea of what to expect. Students will arrive at KP about 8:15 in the morning. We will take a bus to the parade. After the parade's finished, we will take the same bus back, okay? I know sometimes it's easy since you're there to pick up the kids and take them. We have so many students, we really have to try and put them all on the bus unless there's super, circumstances. So 8:15, we take the bus to the parade. We do the parade. We basically get to KP back after the parade about 11:15. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. If you are a 6th grade parent, your student should have purchased an instrument lyre by now. An instrument lyre is a mini music stand that goes on the instruments. They need those because they don't have the parade song memorized. The 8th and 7th graders do. So 6th grade parents, please make sure that your student has an instrument lyre for them. We also do some playing quizzes and tests with this parade song, which they need that lyre for. Okay, so we go outside to practice, they need those instrument lyres. So Memorial Day Parade, May 26th, just takes the morning. If you can't be there, just send me an email. I know there's a lot of vacations. It's no big deal at all. Okay? Thank you guys. We'll get set up in a moment. All right, it looks like our 6th grade band is ready to go, so I'm just going to ask everybody, students in our audience, to please turn your voices off now so we can continue with the 6th grade portion of the concert, please. Thank you. Awesome. Just as a final reminder to the students, again, and parents, this is something we don't usually get to do with our students either, so we just don't get a chance to really practice what it means to be an audience, okay? So students, just to be clear one more time, audience is silence. It's not like a whisper, it's not a tongue and talk, it's silence. You guys did a great job performing. It's the 6th graders' turn. They sound really good too, okay? So we're gonna keep our voices off. We're gonna start our 6th grade concert with a great song entitled Ironclad. And then we're going to go on after that to a song called And It Begins, and I'll tell you about the last song once we get there. This is Ironclad. Let's give it up for the 6th graders. our last song of this awesome sixth grade band, we're going to do a really fun song that we have. It's funny, I've never done. I feel like most middle school band songs at this point, I've basically done them. I've heard them before. This was a new one for me. It's entitled Snakebite.
We'd like to take a few minutes to express our appreciation for Mr. Edwards on behalf of all of the 8th graders.
It's hard to believe that this is our last year with you. Over the years, you've done so much for us, whether it's for music or other things. You've helped us grow and improve, not only as musicians, but students as well. Whether we saw negative David or encouraging Edwards, we will always miss your energy in and out of family.
The memories we've made and lessons you've taught us will stick with us as we move on to high school. Your kindness, understanding, and dedication has positively affected us all in the best ways. Thank you for all your support over the past few years in our middle school journey. We feel truly fortunate to have had you as our teacher. We will miss you so much. We love you. Your 8th graders.
Mr. Edwards is tough. I'm holding it in. All right. Even though it is okay to cry. So, did a lot of my wedding. So all right. I just wanted to say thank you to all the students Addie, Kayla, thank you guys. And I just want to say something about the 8th grade band myself. And hopefully I did not get emotional saying it. You're like a fan here. Where's the circulation? We always have fans going. So for those people who don't know, I've only taught middle school basically my whole teaching career. I know I look young, I'm a little older probably than you think, but between when I taught at East Hartford, when I taught at Sedgwick, and now at King Philip Middle School, I've basically been, moved around in a good way, nothing all for good things to kind of help support a new band program. But I've never had the chance actually to see a full class of students go through middle school. This is the first group of students I've ever taught from 6th grade all the way to 8th grade. So. So I say all to say, thank you, 8th graders. You guys were awesome to teach. And we're going to do the advanced march, so everybody come to your spots. All right, so families, what you have in front of you is a preview of Memorial Day. One of the great things about band is everybody can play it and everybody can participate. And so you're going to hear that right now. Heads up, it's going to be a little bit loud. All right, students, freeze, students, freeze. Students, freeze, 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 freeze. Parents, thank you so much for all you do, for supporting and for reading all the emails, for getting your kids here. We're so thankful. You cannot miss this band at the Memorial Day Parade, I promise. Okay, we'll be even better than what you just heard, and we will be moving. Thank you to all of our administrative team. Thank you to Tyler, the custodians, and Andy Mayo. Thank you, students. And it is, I believe, 7:58. Have a good evening, everybody.